Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Cosmos Atom. I do want to say that I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before investing money into crypto. If you haven't seen the previous update, make sure to watch that before watching this one. It's going to be linked in the top right-hand corner of the screen. And let's get straight into the TA. So taking a look at Cosmos on the daily chart, you can see that we are bouncing off our golden ratio on this large Fibonacci retracement, and this is very bullish. This is very good. The fact that we're holding this level as support shows strength. It shows us that we're holding this uptrend, and for the next move to the upside, hopefully, we're going to be able to break the 786, which we couldn't do back in September. We're going to break that, and we're going to be on our way to create a higher high. That is hopefully what is going to happen, because in a healthy uptrend, you have higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. That's how it goes. Okay, so I wouldn't want to see us lose this low, although I have to admit I would love to buy Cosmos below $6. If we see Cosmos retest the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement, I'm going to be buying a bunch of tokens. Okay, so the last time we did a similar thing was all the way back. Actually, this is the weekly chart. Yeah, I was confused for a second. This is not the daily, this is the weekly. So you can see that the last time we retested the golden ratio was back in August of 2021, or July, I should say. So this is the level that we held as support. Then we lost it here in May. We bounced off the 0.5, perfect entry. And from there, we're creating a high, higher low, and hopefully right now we're going to see another higher low. So this is looking good. If we see any sort of a relief rally in the near future, in the coming weeks, months, I would say a good target would be the $32.5 range, which is our previous all-time high that we set in May of 2021. And that's not very far from where we are. As you can see, we are only 200% from there, 215%. And Cosmos has been doing has been performing very strong. We're now sitting at a 76% pullback from the all-time high. Initially, we went all the way down and had an 87% correction, and right now we're sitting 77% off. So this is strong. This is really strong. And the swing high, as I mentioned, is the previous all-time high that we created back in May of 2021. And we had a swing low over here in March of 2020. So based off of this Fibonacci, we have the minimal target at the 1.272, which is $82.3. The 1.618 is at $268. Those will be our major targets going forward. And as always, if we see any strong capitulations in the crypto markets or in the finance markets in general, crypto is going to follow the S&P 500 generally. So if we have a crash sometime January, February next year for the S&P 500, then crypto is definitely going to go down. However, we can't say that before that happens, crypto cannot create a higher high. So potentially we could start breaking out of these major resistance trend lines for the cryptos, for our altcoins, and we may create higher highs. And then with the next capitulation, we may come back down and retest some of these lows just to create a double bottom pattern, or retest major key support levels. That could happen, obviously. So this opportunity here that we might have in the next couple of months could be a very fruitful one, because you can make 2-3x on some altcoins. And I see Cosmos doing very well in the next bull market as well. Very bullish on the project. Now let's start zooming in and see what's going on here. So as you can see, we are in a descending broadening wedge, which means that we are bouncing up and down in, oh, sorry, that's not what's supposed to happen. We're bouncing up and down in between this. Looks better on the daily chart. So for some reason, I have the weekly chart accidentally. But as you can see, we had a back test of support, back test of resistance, back test of support. So presumably, if we're going to be sticking with this pattern, we're going to run into the yellow trend line once again, maybe in December, maybe in January, and that high is approximately going to be sitting at $14. So if you run into that, that's going to be a nice area for you to take profits if you are buying off of this support. So if you buy off of there, that's going to be a fruitful 62% trade. I think that's pretty good. If you don't want to hold Cosmos for the long term, this is the trade that I would be looking for if you are willing to hold for a longer period of time. Now, granted, it's not a given that we're going to get there in the next couple of weeks, but you could also target the 20 weekly EMA. That is the yellow line there, this line, right? You see it going all the way here. And that is a major resistance level for us to break. And from where we bounced off to the 20 EMA, that's a 40% move. I think that's pretty solid in a bear market as well. And from that low to where we are right now, that's 16%. So you could make money in the bear market as well. No one says you can't. I'm swing trading very, very few altcoins, but when I do swing trade, I make some good profits. And yeah, so you just have to adapt to some structures. You have to take a look at some technical patterns and realize where the price could go and where the price could end up if we do this or do that. Obviously, it never works out 100% of the time because it cannot, mathematically, it cannot. And I'm just here to give you some resistance levels and some support levels, just so you're ready for both outcomes. Now, if we see Cosmos dropping below this yellow trend line here and we see a capitulation, now this is the first support block that I would be looking at, anywhere from $8 to $7.37. This is the zone that we held back in July of 2022, and this is where potentially we could come back and retest this, right? Maybe if we go here and then have a move all the way back there, right? And you're going to be creating lower highs in the process. So that's not really what we want to do on this local trend, because if I bring out a channel here, this is going to be our sort of a pattern that we have here, a channel down pattern. So we don't want to be in this channel down pattern for a very long time. We want to break up because we don't want to go all the way down to this low, because in that case we might even lose the low, and that's not really what we want to see. Although, like I said, I would love to buy Cosmos off of that. So eyeball this support block. If we go even lower than that, I would target the 0.382 Fibonacci retracement at roughly $4. That's going to be a very sweet buy-in for, in my opinion. However, I doubt that we're going to get to these prices. Now let's switch over to the Binance website. So taking a look at Binance on the weekly, we do have a bit of a different structure here. As you can see, I have my Elliott wave theory that potentially is going to play out, right? I don't think it will, because you can't be right. At least you can't always be right, because I am right quite often, not to blow my own trumpet. But like I said, this is going to be a very, very good low for us to buy into Cosmos if you haven't already. If you have bought in, then I don't see any point in buying Cosmos above $10. Although obviously everyone has different, if you want to buy in Cosmos at $10, $12, good. But I have Cosmos and I'm going to be buying in only below $10. So I did buy a bit here below $10. And we are in this buy zone, like I said, $10 to $8.50. We dipped into this support block, just like I said we probably would after we broke out of the channel up pattern here, or the uptrend. Healthy retest of support. And right now, we potentially are going to be creating this monster wave 3 of the Elliott wave theory, which is usually the strongest, biggest, fastest wave. So if we manage to get into this resistance block that we created in December 2021 and August 2021, we are going to be very, very profitable, because, like I said, if you bought into Cosmos all the way back in June, that is going to be a 290% move, a 4x in 6 months during a bear market. That is crazy. So that is also a potential play that you have. If I get rid of the price tags there so you can see the picture more clearly. And as you can see, we are in a falling wedge. You probably saw that already. So obviously we have 1 touch, 2 touch, 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, 4 fake out. For now, if we see this breakout here, if we really do see a breakout, you need to see the volume behind that. If there is no volume, that's probably a fake out and you're going to come back down into this support block. So be careful with swing trading, especially when Bitcoin is near its bottom. I would be very careful with swing trades, because what could end up happening is that you could sell thinking that the price is going to come back down, and the price just does the exact opposite and it pumps and you're left down here with your cash. And then you're going to feel the FOMO and you're going to buy all the way up here, which obviously we all know what happens. afterwards the price dumps and you sell at a loss. So don't do that. You're better off holding your tokens and selling once you get overextended, or selling during the next bull market, whatever is your plan. But I'm just saying that be careful with swing trading, especially if you're not very knowledgeable in that regard. So the technical target from this falling wedge would be all the way back over here, which is where we created the falling wedge at $44.50. And it's not a lot from where we are right now. That's not a lot by any stretch of the imagination. A 334% move, a bit more than a 4x. That is not very far away, in my opinion. We could see those prices next year for Cosmos, and we could absolutely get overextended during the next bull market. So I think $160 is a given next bull market. So obviously I can't be 100% sure, but looking at how the project is developing and looking at the price here, the price structure, it's looking very bullish. The same thing could be said about the RSI. We're printing a higher low. Potentially we're running into resistance at the 42.8 index. That could be a major resistance level that sends us back down, because actually I think that trend line got moved a bit. So that's supposed to be the trend line. That's supposed to be the touch that we're targeting as resistance right now, because we got a bounce from there in June of 2021, right? And right now we haven't retested that level as resistance yet. So potentially we could run into this level and get sent all the way back down. That could happen. So if you're a risky trader, you could take profits once we run into that level there. However, I'm not going to guarantee that the price is going to, go back afterwards. It might just come up and retest this resistance level, for instance. So be careful with your swing trades. If you bought in here and you made some profit and you're okay to sell, no matter what happens with the price afterwards, then great, right? As long as you're not wrecking your nervous system, okay? And that's all I have to say about Cosmos this week. As you can see, the volume is not very strong right now. If we see the breakout out of the falling wedge, then I would look at the volume to see that confirmation of the breakout, because we're going to need to see some volume coming in to confirm that breakout. Other than that, thank you all for watching. I'm going to see you in the next one. Check out my Patreon and Twitter linked down below. I'm going to see you in the next one. Goodbye and good night.